You mentioned on that apple tree couple
We are back. We are talking with Elvis's leading ladies, and in case you missed it, Stella Stevens and Marianne Mobley and Sue Ann Langdon and Nancy Sinatra. What are some of the big misconceptions, Nancy, about him? Are there any?
Yeah. Well, first of all, that he's alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that is not true.
Why is this persistent?
I don't know. I knew him one way always. I did not know him the way Stella knew him. I didn't know him as he was later on. We stayed in touch. My children were born. I sent him pictures. He sent me flowers. You know, it was not a one-on-one kind of relationship where I could have kept track of him. I really regret that I did lose him there at the end. Maybe, you know, we all have those regrets. Maybe I could have helped him somehow.
Do any of you feel that way too?
Absolutely.
If I'd known more, I could have saved him, quote unquote. You know?
Well, I don't know if I could have saved him. I think that would be very presumptuous on my part, but I wanted to be his friend because he was a friend to me. He was a very loyal and kind and generous friend. And I felt that because he was the big star, that you hesitated to say, call him up and say, hi, Elvis, you know, how you doing? And I think if more of us had done that probably he would have, maybe his life would have been enriched a little more.
Could you get through with all the Elvis Mafia, they used to call him? He was always surrounded by the
Well,
guys.
I did visit him a couple of times in Las Vegas after I worked with him, and one of the misconceptions is that, and I wasn't that big a fan, and all who missed his live performances don't know how fantastic he was.
He was, yeah.
It was, the charisma, and you just, it was amazing. It was exciting. It was just so wonderful, and to see the crowd work with him and love him so much. And I used to go backstage afterwards, and I remember one time I was allowed backstage, and we did the usual fun jokes and all the kind of stuff in the patter. But the second time that I saw him, I was not allowed to go back because, and that's probably when it would have been good to help him. They said he just wasn't feeling well, you know.
Did you ever get any gifts?
No,
Did you say anything, Nancy?
Yeah, I want to ask everybody something. It's ironic to me. It's confusing to me how my father, who is one of the great entertainers of the world, and Elvis, who was one of the great entertainers of the world, how they could lead such different lives. My father was always taking us to the market, or we would go to J.C. Penney's and buy tennis shoes. Elvis could barely leave his house, or felt he couldn't. The fame, I think, was about the same. I've never been able to figure this out. I don't understand it to this day. There's something in there.
Even when I worked with him, which he was still very young, he slept all day and he was awake all night. He would go to Memphis and have movies run in the middle of the night. And I lost track of him too. And I remember a time when he was in the hospital in Memphis and I sent him flowers. But I never heard from Elvis again after the movie. I lost touch
no
completely.
gifts? We're going to go to a commercial. I want to find, because we always heard great gifts. I want to know if any of you got something you could say, look, Elvis gave me this. Because I know he sent me something, but it's in the mail. We'll be back. We'll be back in a moment with more, so please stay tuned.
Are you sorry we're drifting apart? Does your memory stay?